Hey, what's on, guys? So, as some of you may know by now, a new Batman game is confirmed to be in development by WB Montreal, the people that made Batman Arkham Origins. So, I just want to discuss the confirmed information, the rumored but extremely likely to become confirmed information, and what we could possibly see in terms of characters, gameplay, and story. So, first off, the confirmed news that we have is Damian Wayne will be the new Batman, not Bruce Wayne, for this. And personally, I think it's a nice change from Bruce Wayne. Although, based on the rumors that we're getting, it's supposedly gonna be leaning towards a Batman Beyond game, but not 100%. So, I'll touch more on that a little bit later. But I personally would like to see Terry McGinnis in this game instead of Damian Wayne. But Damian is a good choice too, and I'm open to see what they do with the character. The next character that's supposed to appear in the game is Nightwing, and he's supposed to appear in the game, but they changed his character and he's supposed to be bald in the game, so I'm not really sure how I feel about that. And that's pretty much all the news we have on Nightwing. The next thing is that even though WB Montreal is making this game, it doesn't mean it's going to be an Arkham game. Personally, I'm leaning towards it actually being an Arkham game, but I'd still like to see what they can do if it wasn't an Arkham game. Because the way they describe this is, it's not really an Arkham game, but it's like a soft reboot to the Arkham series. So that can mean a lot of different things. So I'm going to say it's like a fresh take on the Arkham series is the best way to put it, in my perspective. So the next thing is the story. It's confirmed that the game is supposed to take place in the future, exactly 10 years from the end of Arkham Knight. So assuming Arkham Knight takes place modern day in 2015, for example, then 10 years from now would be 2025, 2026 if you want to go 2016 as well. And before we jump to a conclusion this is going to be a Batman Beyond game, just hear me out. The Batman Beyond story from the TV series and the comics takes place roughly in the 2030s and 2040s. So if I'm correct, at this point in 2025, Terry probably is a toddler or an infant, so he's nowhere near the age to become Batman, because he was a high school student when he became Batman in the TV series. But that may disprove the Batman Beyond theory, but there's still more information which helps support that, so I'll touch more on that a little bit later. Next is the villains that they've confirmed. So we'll be getting an entirely new set of villains this time around, ones that we've never gotten in a video game before. The confirmed villains are White Rabbit. She's this girl in a bunny costume who likes being chased and can duplicate herself with multiple personalities. Next is Flamingo. He's basically like a skilled hitman who likes the color pink, and he uses a variety of different weapons to take down his enemies, and his main source of transportation is this like motorcycle. Next is the Judge. We don't have a lot of information on him, but he's basically like a third personality version of Two-Face. And then next is Black Mask. Now, according to multiple sources, Black Mask is supposed to be a female this time around, and that's because during this 10-year time period, there are actually multiple leadership changes for Black Mask, and most of them got killed. So now we have a female Black Mask. That's just the one that we have at that current time. Next is Talon, who's supposed to be confirmed in the game. Talon is a member of the organization under the same name, and he works for the Court of Owls. Just to touch up on this a little bit, I feel like Talon and the Court could be the main villains of the game. I definitely see that working out, because in all the previous games we had Joker, then we had Scarecrow, and then we had Joker again. So it's mostly been Joker. So next are the DD twins. These are probably going to support the Batman Beyond theory, because they were in the Batman Beyond Return of the Joker movie. And next is the Joker game, which is from the Batman Beyond TV series. So these two alone are the ones that really support the Batman Beyond game theory. I think that if they do go through with this, they should, I don't know if they'll have the exact same versions that we got in Batman Beyond. So I'm open to seeing different interpretations of these characters that give different people, like maybe previous people that use these aliases, like the DD twins, and then like earlier Joker gang members. I'll touch more on my personal set of villains in a bit, but next I want to talk about some of the other likely to be real info. This is just rumored, but we're getting it from a lot of multiple sources, so it could end up being confirmed later on. First is the new suit. We don't have a whole lot of information on this, but based off the article, the new suit is supposed to be a mixture between the Batman Beyond suit, the Hellbat suit, and the Batman suit from Arkham Knight. the way they described it, they didn't give a whole lot of information about this, but they said that there's gonna be a big red bat symbol on the chest, and then it's gonna have a metallic cape, and then the mixtures of the 3 different Batman suits. Personally, I think this sounds really badass, but I'm just hoping it's not like some like super bulky, super like heavy built up like suit. I actually want it to feel like a Batman Beyond type of suit. You know, it's like lightweight and it's just like on him. You know, it's not like adding any extra weight. It's not making him slower or anything. But the whole concept sounds super badass. So I can't wait to see what this actually looks like in game and in trailers and stuff. But I really hope that this turns out to be true. They revealed an area of the game, and it showed much wider roads and some buildings here and there. The rumors going around that it's supposed to be way bigger than Arkham Knight. Next to that, the roads are bigger because they're going to be introducing the Bat Cycle in the game. I'm perfectly open to seeing the Bat Cycle, but I just don't want it to end up like the Batmobile was. You know, it was cool at first, and then it was just like you're just forcing it into the game. So I kind of want the Batmobile to be a source of transportation, and then just like the default stuff, the stuff that the Batmobile was without the battle mode. That's kind of what I want the Bat Bike to be like. Next is my personal set of villains. So for these villains, I'm picking ones that could return from previous games if this turns out to be a follow-up to the Arkham series. So the first one is Professor Pig, because his side missions, though are repetitive, were actually a lot of fun in my opinion, and I'd like to see more of him as a side mission again. But I think for most of these villains that I'd like to see, the returning ones, I'd actually like them to use the same exact people that portrayed them in the previous Arkham games, because it would show how they've gotten older and how the years have taken a toll on them, and see how it's affected their like personal vendetta against Batman, and just like their overall are they more like brutal, or are they just like softer, how have they developed over the years. So I like to see them use mostly returning characters. As for Professor Pig's side missions, I don't really want it to be like they were in Arkham Knight. I want it to be less repetitive, but I still want it to be more expanded upon than it was in Arkham Knight. I don't want it to be like you just solve some clues and you find out where his hidden hideout is and you beat him up and his henchmen and all that. That's cool and all, but it seems too simple. I want it to be a little bit more complex than that. Next is Lady Shiva. Now, she only appeared in Arkham Origins for a short time, and when she did appear, it was actually pretty fun. So I like her to appear again in the next Batman game, but on a much grander scale. Maybe actually as a side mission, and an actually good side mission actually takes a while. Next is Deathstroke, a fan favorite from the previous games, and I'd like him to play out the same way he played out in Arkham Origins, not the way he played out in Arkham Knight. I want him to be stronger and smarter and more agile. So I'd also like him to be a side mission, or if he's part of the main story, that would work too. But I actually want them to do that same thing that they did in Arkham Origins, where you actually fight him one-on-one in the main story. I actually want to be able to do that again. I think that was super badass, and that was just one of my favorite parts of Arkham Origins. Lastly is a Joker and Harley Quinn. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are going to disagree with me about this, about these guys even being in the game. I think the best way for them to do this, I think the best way for them to play this out, since Joker is dead, he only lives through Batman. I think the best way for them to play this out is if they brought back the same Harley Quinn, like an older version, and then they brought in a new Joker, and there's someone new takes up Joker's place. I think that would work pretty well. But if they do this, I don't want them to be the main antagonist of the game. You know, we've had Joker in the majority of all the Arkham games, so I want them to be there, but I don't want them to be the main villains of the game. Next, I want to talk about villains from the Batman Beyond time period that I would like to see. First is Ink. With a craving for money, she became a biogenetic mutant with abilities of a polymorph, which is basically means she can change her shape and size at will on a molecular level. So I've always loved the concept of the character, and I think she would work really well with the story, preferably as a side mission or a main story character. Because if you're going to include the DD twins and Joker gang, then you might as well include a good chunk of the other Batman Beyond villains. Next is Spellbinder. He has the powers of throwing people into an alternate reality using a high-tech eyeball. Again, I love the concept of the character, and since the game is set in the future, there's no reason why Spellbinder and his powers wouldn't work in the game. Next is Blight. He's a corrupt corporate executive of Wayne Enterprises who was exposed to radioactive substances. And this is just one of those characters that can work. Probably it's just a side character. You know, maybe he's mentioned here and there, and we do fight him once or twice. But I don't really see him as like the main big bad of the game. but I like to see him actually be in this game in some way, shape, or form. Next is Kurare. She's a member of the Society of Assassins, and she's actually the best assassin that they've had. And again, I'd like to see her as a side mission, and maybe in the way that Lady Shiva was in Arkham Origins, or maybe if they could pull this off, maybe some kind of like, maybe in the way that Ra's al Ghul and the League was in Arkham City, if they could pull something like that, that would be pretty cool too. But right as of now, I'd say just like a normal side mission would be pretty cool. Next is Shriek, a scientist possessing a robotic suit that shoots deadly sound vibrations. I can see him again as a side villain. Last one is the Royal Flush King. They could actually be used as one of the main villains of the story, but I'll touch more on the whole main villain set later on. Most of these new characters feel like side characters in side missions, so I'm not really sure who they could use for the main villains, but it definitely should not be Joker and Harley Quinn, in my opinion. But as for the actual main villains of the story, this is just an idea right now, but I think what they could do is they could have all the different gangs of Gotham, like that. You have the Joker gang, and then you have the Society of Assassins, or what's left of them at this point, and the Court of Owls, whatever other, like whatever Two-Faces or the Judge's gang is. Just have all these gangs come together and unite to try to take down Damien. I think that would be a pretty cool approach instead of having just one central main bad guy. And then what they could do is, after having all of this as like one group, they could have like one of those gangs be in charge of all of the other gangs. So maybe they could have like the Court and Talon be in charge of everybody. So that, I think that could work pretty well. But right now, this is just an idea. You know, it could be completely different. This is just what my idea is. Next, I want to talk about what we could get in terms of like gadgets that Damien could use. So since this is set in the future, I'd like to see Batman Beyond type of gadgets. The things he has, the super advanced like fingertip speakers that he puts against windows and he can hear into like buildings and stuff. I like to see like that somehow work in the game. That, and then if possible, maybe the retractable bat wings that come out like in the Batman Beyond suit. I like to see that somehow work out. Definitely want to see cloaking. That, I think that should definitely be a must. But it shouldn't be something like you can use like unlimited amount of time. Like it's like a gauge, like it was in like Titanfall 2, something like that. Like you have it for a certain amount of time and it just runs out, then you have to let it refresh. And then if possible, maybe give him like the rocket boosted feet / boots that Batman had in Beyond. I think that could work. And then alongside that, I still want to see the return of some other previous gadgets from previous Arkham games, like the explosive gel, the remote control charge, or if they could just like recreate those with different names and like different abilities, but something similar to the previous gadgets. And the last thing I want to talk about is the supporting characters we could get for Damien. Bruce Wayne's definitely going to be there. He's confirmed to be helping Damien, like how he helped Terry in Batman Beyond. So I like to see them develop a strong relationship at this point. But apart from that, same thing with Nightwing. You know, Nightwing and Damien never really did get along when they were kids, if you've seen the animated movies. So I think at this point, I'd like to see Damien and Nightwing actually have a strong bond as like. So I think they could work well as the main protagonists together in the main story. But on the side, I like to see Ace make an appearance or actually be a part of the game. Like I want it to be like you actually use Ace during side missions, or if you like hunt down a bunch of bad guys, follow Ace around, or just anything with Ace. I think that would be a really cool concept, because no other Batman game's ever done something like that, and I think it's really gonna bring a really strong sense of emotion to the game if you're gonna be introducing an animal as a companion. I think that'd be really cool. But that covers pretty much all the stuff that's confirmed, rumored, but likely to become confirmed later on, in my personal list of pretty much everything that the Batman game could have. So if you enjoyed the video, then smack that like button, as always appreciated. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Also, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button to see more content like this.